Hello, Leo. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully your day's gotten off to a good start. My pleasure to be here. Little Apollo decided to make an appearance for all of us, so I thought I'd bring him up for just a second, waking up from one of his naps. Welcome to your monthly forecast. We're going to be taking a look at the next 6 to 8 weeks together. And really, my goal every time that I do one of these readings is to help you navigate, help empower you, and help show you what's possible. So we'll be doing all of that today with some love from Apollo as well. I'm going to put him down so we can get focused and begin. Thanks, buddy. All right. So the order in which we're going to do this, we're going to start off with channeled messages first. As always, channeled messages come from spirit. This is basically what I pick up on when I'm meditating in the morning and also through dreams right before I get started. And there's a lot of adjustment energy that's coming through for your sign this month. And let's get straight into the messages and then we'll go from there. So as I was kind of recording all of my dreams and then trying to kind of weave together how this would all fit together today, what I was really seeing was, first of all, needing to pick a direction and then allowing yourself to really just sort of see what's around you once you do that and letting the dust settle a little bit. So the main messages here are to move forward, and if there is any sort of reverse energy or looking over your shoulders, to not spend too much time there. I really picked up on the overarching message that this is about moving forward and really seeing what's around. So let's just get into each one of these messages. The first and the most memorable message was an image that I got of a car, and I watched as whoever was driving it was backing up. They were trying to decide, should I move forward, should I back up? And then they backed up way too quickly, and I saw them kind of sideswipe another car. And for me, I'm not focusing so much on, it's not about the car, it's about how you're doing the action and what you're doing about this. So for me, what this means is, first of all, sometimes there's a knee-jerk reaction when change happens in our life or when we step into a new situation. It's like buyer's remorse, right? And the first thing you think is, oh, it was so much more comfortable just being the way that I was or doing whatever I was doing before you even give yourself a chance to see how you feel about this new state of being. So before you shift the car into reverse and quickly reverse something that hasn't even started, to sort of warm up, give yourself a chance to just take a deep breath and take one step at a time. If you do need to back out of something, this could be a contract, this could be an agreement, this could be something that's pending, make sure that you're taking into account how this will influence and impact the people around you. Some people may already have started to count on you being a part of something. And I'll share a personal aside because I know sometimes that helps, but when I was an intern, I learned this final bullet lesson loud and clear. Sometimes it's better to finish something, even if it's uncomfortable, especially if it's uncomfortable, because that's kind of why we come into this lifetime. We set up a curriculum, as I like to refer to it, and we're supposed to pass those lessons. So when I was just getting out of graduate school, I did an extra, actually it was between undergrad and grad. I did an internship just to see if I liked my course of study. And it was a really good company. I actually went overseas. I was in London for the internship. And, I wasn't even getting credit. This was just something that I wanted to experience. So anyway, they were really, really hard on me at this place. And it was a big company. And I was doing a good job. And there was just one day where I wanted to leave a little bit early. And there were a number of other things that made this really uncomfortable, like a lack of communication, someone who was basically just throwing things at me. And if I made a mistake, they would roll their eyes and complain or make me feel bad. And it was actually the opposite of what an internship's supposed to be. You're supposed to teach someone, you're supposed to kind of show them the ropes and set them up for success, not just have them do grunt work and basically free labor and abuse them. And so it was all of that. So basically I got to the point where I said, fine, I'm done. And I don't know what that means, but I'll just do something else. I'll find another internship here. Apollo's getting stressed while I talk about this. Ultimately, my internship program said, no, don't do this. We just talked to the director there. She's mortified that this was happening. She had no idea. You're reporting directly to the vice president. And I was like, oh my God. I had to go back the next day and then see the person who had mistreated me and then go to the other person and make it work. And she apologized to me, the one that mistreated me. And I had to then continue to work with her and finish out the next month and a half or 2 months that were left. But I learned that All the other people were really supportive. They're like, this is not what we stand for. This isn't what we thought it would, just stay, please stay. We want you to learn. That's what this program's for. And it made a difference. And that person probably would never do that to a future intern again. I learned the importance of speaking up when you're not getting what you need out of something. So rather than hitting reverse, which is what I was trying to do initially and what Apollo was trying to do in the background, I stuck around and I said, I'm frustrated. This isn't what I signed up for, and I want to do a good job, but I'm feeling like I don't get the support that I need, and I'd rather not show up and be so unhappy. And I had to kind of contextualize it. I'm here across the world, no support, and I'm here to kind of learn. Imagine how I feel if I have to kind of like pull myself out of the situation. So anyway, I'm happy I stayed with it. And in the future, I was a lot more discerning about opportunities. Hey, buddy, it's okay. I'm done talking. You don't have to be upset. Apollo's super empathetic. So when I get stressed out, sometimes if I have to talk on the phone about something that I don't like, he can feel the energy. So we'll move on to something else. But moving forward is the key thing here. And giving yourself credit and the ability to basically change a situation too is something to think about, okay? Focus on what you can get out of this and how maybe you can continue moving forward. I never want you to be in an uncomfortable situation, but sometimes it's not your fault. And sometimes the environment can change if something's wrong. And that's an important thing to kind of think about, okay? There we go. All right, let's move on to the next piece. A light bulb moment. So for me, I was watching again in dreams. It was the back of a house. There wasn't enough light. I saw a changing of bulbs, brightening of bulbs, and then there was a path that was revealed. So the highest and most elevated way of looking at this is that there's a new way around a challenge, a backdoor solution that you hadn't thought about. And so if you're feeling like you're stuck up against a wall, I don't know what to do, I'm not going to be able to finish this or do this, etc., talk to someone else. There may be an obvious or not so obvious solution that you're just sort of too blocked to see, but once they illuminate it, it's like, oh yeah, why didn't I think about that? Now, from a security standpoint, a backdoor is often a vulnerability, so there may be some sort of an inadvertent loophole that someone may take advantage of, so you want to be mindful of that. It could benefit you if there's something where, again, it could be sort of, this is a way around it. It's not the best way, but a way around it. So I see a backdoor solution, and then also the need to close up any sort of security vulnerabilities that might exist there as well, okay? And I chose the Ace of Swords here because we can see that ability to think in a different way and maybe approach it in a different way. This is a nicely illustrated Ace of Swords for that. The final thing that I was looking at in dreams had to do with like propagation and transplanting. So I love flowers. I haven't yet put many on my back porch here yet, but I usually do enjoy having 2 or 3 beautiful plants back there. And one thing that I've learned over the years with propagation is the sort of, it's almost like a grief process that a plant goes through when you take it from the mother plant, you allow it to heal a little bit, then you root it, and then it takes some time for that to sort of take root really, and then eventually it starts to thrive. And it's kind of like what you see here in the 7 of Pentacles, which is movement toward a stronger self, but there's that shock, basically being shocked when you're making a change or when you're transplanted. So right after you've gone through something like death, the Tower, the World, Judgment, any of those pivotal cards in tarot that indicate change, there's often this sort of equilibrium that needs to be reached. It's kind of like your inner ears. If you spun around in circles, it takes a second to stop spinning, okay? And so for many of you, you may be in that spinning phase, and I just need you to kind of slow down and breathe for a second. And this works in nice sort of connection with that first card, which is instead of moving immediately, just get your bearings and decide, where do I want to go? What am I doing? So, like I said, the shock is just the shock of change, but I saw thriving down the line. So get your footing, rest. Hydration is a key piece to this because you have to, sometimes you'll root a plant in water, and especially if you've just transplanted something, it needs to be watered, not too much, not too little. And basically we're not rushing things. So I think as long as movement is taking place over the course of the next 6 to 8 weeks, forward movement for the most part, and you're looking at things from all angles, you're going to be okay. This is just not about panicking, hitting the reverse, or trying to make something happen too quickly. Those are the main messages through the channel messages. We'll come back to these periodically as it makes sense as I go through the forecast. Next, we're going to move into the Celtic Cross, and I'm going to be using one of my newer decks for this portion. As I said earlier, you can use this for your sun, your rising, and your moon signs, and I will take a look at all of those a little bit later. Welcome, everybody. It's good to see you, and I hope that your day is getting off to a great start. As we spoke about hydration, Apollo is taking a drink in the background. And I'm using one of my newer decks here, by the way. This one's on my website. Transient Light Tarot, I believe, is the name of it. All right, let's take a look at the cards and see, first of all, before I even get into the Celtic Cross, let me just kind of take a look at the overarching messages here and see if there's some connections. What I love right off the bat is that we have a couple of aces already, and I talked about the Ace of Swords being a central one that I highlighted. Some decisions that need to be made, some balance that needs to happen, the ability to manifest, which is amazing. I love the resources that are coming through for you. This is a good month, folks. This is a great month, actually. Overall, I like what I'm seeing. All right, let's break it down card by card. We're going to begin with the catalyst first, and the catalyst is a way for you to not only create some sort of an action or reaction in your life, but also maintain that momentum. So it came through reverse. Let's just read it upright here. It says, shift your perspective. So to me, the fact that it's upside down is basically really nicely connected synchronistically to what I talked about earlier, which was looking outside, like the backyard, right? Looking outside in a different perspective. That when you felt like you were stuck, it could be the illusion that there was just one way or one time to make something happen, when in fact things are much more flexible. So this could be you leaning on an expert. This could be you doing a little bit of research. It could also just be an encouragement for you to have some fun and brainstorm and imagine things. We are sometimes so keen on just kind of jumping into a predetermined box or sort of like a cookie cutter solution. And I think there's more ways to go about it than that. Your center card hinges on a decision. And as I said earlier, there could be for some of you this feeling of buyer's remorse, or did I make the right decision? And the important thing here is to know that you're always able to continually adjust course in the future. It's just like a car. You're going to have a GPS. You're going to tune in and you're going to think, is this right? Does this feel right? So try to at least give what you've decided to do in this moment a shot and a chance. And when there is something in your life and you need to convince someone else, if you're not quite convinced yet, the timing's off. So don't rush into something until you feel good about it. If you've just started something, at least give yourself a chance to experience it. When I first moved from, I was born in the West and I grew up on the East Coast and I came back to the West Coast. When I came back to the West Coast, initially I thought, did I make the right choice? And it took me about a year or two to kind of get reconnected and sort of make new friends and all of that. So again, the scales have to balance out in justice here. But I love that they're kind of focusing on the sword, the action, the ace, the clarity. And I think that's going to be the important thing for many of you in this moment in time. Okay. And then right on top of that, we've got the crown of swords. I actually said it was an ace, but it's a crown in this one. So this will be, I believe this is the king of swords here. So with the king of swords, this is your moment to really focus on what it is that you are most excited about, what it is that you really want to take the most action on in this moment in time, and really bring that to fruition. So with this in mind, what I mean by this is sometimes we spread ourselves too thin and we're focusing on trying to please everyone, do everything possible. And this is saying, you know what, in this moment, I really have to focus on what matters, focus on where I can make the biggest impact in my life. So with this, say what you mean, follow through on that. Your follow through is going to be so important in this moment in time. And then after that, others will follow suit. They're looking to you for a decisive sort of energy this month. And I know you can do it. And I know that sometimes you just need that push or that encouragement. Here's one of our aces. We have an ace of pentacles here. I like this particular deck, but I do find it a little confusing when they put just a sword on for like the the justice or the king of swords. But anyway, I think what we're looking at here is, and the reason I was drawn to this deck this morning is simplification, clarification, and getting rid of some of the clutter. So I like that element of it. Ace of Pentacles is a seed, is an idea, is a promise of something, but it requires nurturing. So over the course of the next month and a half, what are you doing to bring something a step forward? An idea is great, but ideas are a dime a dozen. So what is it that you're doing? Like we're reading this in February, it's for March. So between now and the end of March, it would be great if every week, if not every day, you were taking a step. And the step could be small. It could be researching, talking, sketching something out, maybe having a meeting, whatever it is that you can do a little bit each day to just make something more real, ground it, feed it. And that's going to help by the end of the next 45 days or so, help you have a result. And that's what I'm picking up on here. You could have an offer or an opportunity landing in your lap, new job. Someone could be interested in you, working with you, or dating you, because this is a proposal of many sorts. So far I like that. It's in the deep past here. So for some of you, you've been sitting on this idea, thought, or invitation. You have to RSVP to Spirit and let Spirit know where you stand. All right, we have the Apprentice of Vessels here coming through Cups. And it's basically saying, are you ready? Are you open? How do you feel about this? Are you ready to learn from this experience? Because that's really what apprentices do here. So with Cups, it's kind of the internship opportunity that I was talking about earlier. And you want to kind of think, what is my heart getting out of this situation? Are you also open to love in this moment too? Love, creativity, and basically, are you happy? All of these things are kind of like a check-in with the heart right now. So if you are, then great things can come of this. But if you aren't, then it's time to speak up. This is connected with pages, I believe, in this deck. So what you really want to do is understand that you have the capacity to make a difference. And to basically do what I did earlier and use your voice, use your vision, and sort of say, hey, this doesn't quite gel with what I thought. Let's talk a little bit. If you put your heart in it, if you are kind, basically leading with the heart, leading with compassion, anything is possible. It's when you sort of like act first and act maybe without compassion or empathy that things can get a little bit tricky. So I think as long as you are using your compassion, you're going to be in a good space. This is also about, like I said, it could be an invitation to love or friendship because this is someone that's interested and this is the expression of that. And they're kind of wondering what's going on. So whether it's an invitation to hang out, a job invitation, or you're trying to think like, what can I do to connect more with my creative self? Let's put this into action somehow. We have the Four of Cups here, and look what we've got, plants. And it's exactly what I was talking about. There needs to be nurturing for those to grow, though. This is a very unusual Four of Cups. Traditionally, I'll pull it up here just so we can see it. The Four of Cups is a blessing in disguise. And so in this moment in time, you have a chance to, it's very nicely connected to this, see something from a different perspective. So here's your traditional Four of Cups. The person's kind of grumpy. They're trying to figure things out. And they're missing a big old ace in the sky right there. And it's basically saying, if you want, you can go this way. If you're ready, we have something better for you. But if you're focusing on only what's obvious, only what's in black and white, you might feel like you're stuck. So this is about imagining a better way, or imagining that something bigger and better is waiting for you. You don't have to settle. That's a very important message coming through for you. Never settle for second best or less than what you're worth, for sure. Any of the fours are like that, except the Four of Wands. But Four of Pentacles and Four of Cups in particular tend to be about settling. And we don't want you to settle, okay? All right, as we're looking at your near future, we have the Magician, and it's basically showing me that you have the capacity right now to basically make things happen, which is really exciting. And the discernment piece is what we're focusing on here. So this is showing one of every suit, but we don't need to use everything to basically show our worth. When you look at maybe someone that is a student and just comes into the work world, sometimes a sign of them having less experience would be they feel like they need to show all of their capabilities in a presentation, or for music, for instance. A seasoned musician knows when to pull back and maybe just have a pared down production, because you just want to hear the voice and an instrument. So like an acoustic presentation can be so much more interesting than a heavily produced radio hit, because you feel like you're more connected. Less can be more. Do less, do it better, and show off the components better. Experience tells you where to pull back. Same thing happens with fashion. If you put too much on, you can't see any of the pieces. There's maybe an example in the 80s when Madonna did it and it was a style or aesthetic, but typically we don't want that much. Too much can be too much. So if you just have a few pieces, they really stand out and you pay attention to it. So this is about discernment, less being more. And when you're putting those few pieces out there, whatever it is that you're trying to create, show, or communicate, it's going to be more effective. This is also saying that if you limit things in thoughts before the actions ever have a chance to catch up, that's a disservice to yourself. So if you think a limiting thought, I have bad luck with whether it's relationships, jobs, etc. I don't want to say it because that is a statement that then the universe hears. Then that's a limiting thought. What you want to do instead is say, I'm ready to see a breakthrough in this area. I'm open to more love and abundance in the highest forms. Let's bring it through. Let's bring it on. Show me how to accomplish this because I am ready to receive. Now you've opened up your big old satellite dish here, the Apprentice of Cups here, and it's basically saying, show me what's possible. Because I'm ready to believe, I'm ready to see. So that's what you want to do with Magician energy this month, is believe in the possibilities and look beyond the obvious, okay? Because I actually get what the illustrator's going for here, because each of these are vessels. The pots hold materials, so cups are basically just vessels. This is the one thing that is required for these to grow. So these vessels will remain dormant until the water is able to fill them up. So you have to take one thing. For some of you, it's alchemic, actually, what we're looking at with this. One component, one person, one idea, that light bulb that I was talking about is missing. But when you put it in there, it's the illumination. So you're very close to a breakthrough. It's just a different perspective, an outside opinion, one little element, taking it away or adding it, and suddenly everything makes sense. So you're very close. Don't give up. Just keep looking at things from a different perspective and work your magic, okay? All right, now we're looking at champions, which are equivalents to knights in this one. So we have a champion of swords here. Whenever the knight of swords is in reverse, it's saying, it's kind of like the car. Let's be mindful about this. I'm always a big proponent of a knight reverse because it's basically saying, in this moment, I can fix something, and the time that I take doing this is going to save me time down the road. So I'm all for that. If you need to edit something that you've written, if you need to revise something that you've said or a decision and you need to make a slight adjustment, great. But what we're looking at here to me is more like 15, 20, 30 degree sort of shift. It doesn't have to be a complete 180. You don't have to back out of something. You can just change it a bit. And this is like not having to throw out all the work that you've done. So a minor adjustment, a minor edit, a minor shift will help you sort of keep the right trajectory. And that's the advice with this card. It's also saying don't rush. Things are already moving quickly enough. Nights move pretty fast. We have this bird flying through the sky, all the butterflies. Everything's going quickly enough. Don't try to rush faster. So enjoy, soak in, drink in the moment, and look around, because there could be something right in front of you that will speed it up naturally. You don't have to go looking or rushing. Just combine, just focus, and allow these things to grow. This is cool because it connects with that Seven of Pentacles energy, where he's sitting there and he's thinking, why isn't this growing? Why isn't this happening? Just work your magic, be patient. And, overnight, sometimes we can have a Jack and the Beanstalk moment. It's not as exaggerated as that, but anybody that's, been a gardener or is a farmer or works with plants, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes if you just ignore something, you take a look and you're like, oh my God, it bloomed. Or wait, there's this big shoot of growth. Where did that happen? So it's when you least expect it that breakthrough will happen for you. So just minor shifts, minor edits, minor adjustments will create what we see here, which is abundance. We have the Ten of Pentacles, a really favorable card for your environment. It's showing for many of you the ability for new people, new opportunities, maybe even something that could be long-term to come through. This can indicate marriage or a long-term partnership as well. I like the little candle in the window there, which is saying that there's someone else out there that is intending or wishing for the same thing. There's a great line, minor spoiler alert, but at the end of Practical Magic, where the lead character, she's afraid that her love interest is only interested in her because as a little girl she put out a spell or a wish. And there's a cool line where he turns around, he's like, I wish for you too. Wishes work both ways. So you could be wishing for someone, there could be someone that's wishing for the perfect employee, the perfect partner, the perfect tenant, because this can be a house. So just realize all you have to do is put your wish out there, and it's going to latch on to the other wish too, and witch perhaps, because that story was about witches. So yes, work your magic is basically what this is saying, and it does work. Intentions and wishes are magical because it is thoughts, words, and intention basically being sent out into the universe, into the post office that is spirit, and allowing for it to file and find the right connection for you. So I think many of you are making that connection right now. So remember, as hard as you're wishing or wanting for something, someone or something else is also trying to find that connection. Here's the key. Surrender is the magical component that will help it happen. So when you finally think to yourself, I'm ready for this, I want this, but I don't desperately need it. I'll be fine no matter what. If I'm ready, I believe I'm worthy, but I'm going to continue to work my magic and focus on other things. But bring it on. If the other component and the other piece is equal and ready, then let's do this. That's when it will happen. But if you focus solely on that, then you kind of put too much energy in that direction. So send the letter, send the wish, and then focus on something else. And when you least expect it, that's when Spirit's going to come through and say, I didn't forget about you. Here you go. Sometimes it's inconvenient because you're already focused on something else, but you'll be all right. Okay, we have the Nurturer card here, which is the Empress. They changed all the names in this deck to kind of avoid any genders. It's just sort of like hierarchy, which it's cool, but it takes a minute for me when I'm reading all the cards. So the Nurturer, what I love about this one is that we see that beautiful pearl at the center. And again, I'm seeing a connection with that little story that I talked about. I was the irritant that then helped kind of polish up that process and make things better. And what originally was irritating for me gave me that sort of solid foundation to realize never run away from a difficult situation. Just talk it out. Really, if I was an adult going back in that situation, because I was super young, maybe I was 20, I was young in early 20s or something, but what I would have just I would have talked straight to the person that was giving me a hard time and said, I know you're busy and you thought that I would just be cheap labor, but there's actually a component here that you're supposed to do. I need some help. And I'll make mistakes, and that's part of an internship. And if you're not ready for that, then let's talk to someone here. I need a better partner here. I would have been a little sassier, and I have nothing to lose as an intern. That is their responsibility. But when you're younger, you don't have your voice. It's not as easy to stand up for yourself, right? Because you want to make a good impression. I wanted to make them happy. So don't be afraid to not necessarily just be sassy, but speak up and say, I know that we both have the same desire, which is to make a good end product. I can't do this without your help, or I need this in order for success. So the nurturer in reverse is saying what they need to be supported. The nurturer upright, the empress upright, she just takes care of people. But in reverse, she's saying, I need something too. I need this. It's interesting that they chose a clam, which is like a filter feeder. And when it's basically saying you need to take energy in as well, not just give, okay? So make sure that you're asking for what it is that you need, that you're also not taking in everyone else's baloney and garbage, because that is what, any of the sort of filter feeders would do, and say, all right, or oyster, I said clam, oyster, but they're all filter feeders. You don't have to just take in garbage. So you can basically say, I can help you with this, I can help you with this, but you're going to have to deal with this. Or I'm aware that this is an issue. I think it might be your responsibility, but I'm here to help support you if you need some guidance there. So using your words, leaning on others, asking for help, not feeling like you have to hold up the weight of the world like Atlas. It's not your job, okay? Someone wants it to be your job perhaps, but you don't have to do that. There also could be a teacher, parent, mentor, or just a really strong individual around you that has a tough time letting you go. Let's say you're really capable, because you are with the magician here. They are maybe afraid of this capability and just, want you to stay in your sort of swim lane when you're actually on a growth trajectory. So that's up to you how you want to deal with that. But a lot of times this can just be someone who's a little bit envious or a little bit afraid, and you want to basically just focus on yourself in this situation, on doing the work, and this person eventually is perhaps going to cause themselves issues. You don't have to really create a big sort of storm there. Just do the work, focus on maybe finding a better, I always say this, if the environment's not supportive of your growth, then you need something bigger to grow in, a different environment, different relationship, a different place. So don't be afraid to do that. You have some time, you have some opportunities to change it, but sometimes we can't change the environment, and that's when it's time to move on. Your outcome card is beautiful because it's smudging, basically, it's a clearing. So this Five of Wands always reminds me of collaboration and cooperation. I'll pull the traditional card in a second. But what's beautiful about this illustration is clearing. There's something to be cleared when it comes to what you're spending your time and energy on, because the Five of Wands constitutes work, investment of time and energy in activities, and it can also harken back to the competitive vibe that maybe we got when we were kids, especially if you had older brothers or sisters, or just like you were in a really competitive school. And it's saying, at the end of the day, the only person you're competing against is yourself. So if you're happy with who you are, that's all that matters. And at the end of your days on this planet, that's really all that matters as well. Here's your traditional Five of Wands. We can see someone kind of stuck in the middle of this messy engagement. Nobody's really making progress. They're all pushing. It's like a bunch of egos, a bunch of people wanting to be seen. And it reminds me a little bit, if you can think of maybe back to second grade, third grade, where a teacher would ask a question. Nobody as an adult ever does this, and kids will be like, oh, me, pick me. It's like all of this competing for attention. Have you ever been in a board meeting where people are like, ooh, or, nobody does that as an adult, but as kids, everyone's raising their hands and trying to get the attention. Or, maybe there's a younger sibling that gets brought into the house, and then the older sibling acts up a little bit. What we want to do instead is just realize each of us can have our shine, each of us can have our moment. And right now, imagine if all five of these people were working in a group together. What's really missing here is the sixth wand, which is leadership, which then brings you to Six of Wands. So you're going to step into the situation. The solution for the Five of Wands is you come in with an ace, you come in with an idea, and you lead the charge. And you also bring this energy together and say, we have a common interest here, and we all want a chance to sort of shine. Let's shine together. So that's kind of the opportunity here, is to be the leader, to be the voice of reason, to make it a Six of Wands moment, which is going to require collaboration, cooperation, and clearing of energy. There might be some stuff going on where people just need to speak up and say, this is bothering me, or I have this idea, or I have this concern, okay? So I'm glad you guys got a kick out of that. I had to think back to a core memory, but I'm like, yeah, I remember back in school where kids just couldn't wait to get that out, right? They want the teacher to love them, right? So we're going to move on to the expanded forecast, where we're going to get some additional insights into everything that we just talked about. We always start this off with health, which includes mind, body, and spirit. Again, a reminder that as we look at all of these, I'm not a replacement for a doctor, a therapist, or a financial advisor. What I am is a tarot reader, and what I am doing for you today is helping you open up intuitive channels in your life that can allow for growth. The first card when we're looking at health is the wolf spirit. Let's look at this closer. Turn knowledge into wisdom. Amen to that. The wolf is both a pack sort of animal, but also has some times where it just wants to be a lone wolf. So I feel like for some of you, you need a little bit of time to both be in and out of the pack, in and out of your friends and family circles, and to clear your head and to figure out what part of this situation is my thoughts and my energy and what is yours. And once you can see that, the solution is going to come through for you. And so the first thing here is to take a step back, have an Eight of Cups moment where you're just sort of, even if it's 10 minutes or 5 minutes, go for a walk, go for a drink in the kitchen, walk the dog, do whatever you can do to kind of clear your head. Everybody has the capacity to find time, whether it's when you're taking a shower, whether, when you're driving somebody, whatever it is. There's always a few minutes where you can kind of get your thoughts together. Careful with the driving, though, because I picked up on navigational issues. So really kind of maybe more when you're walking or doing another activity. Get your thoughts together and then come back and say, I've given this consideration, I've done the research, and this is what I think. With the wolf spirit, the other thing that I think of with this is the ability to also call, and there's call and answer because I think of the wolf howls. So there is a lot of this call and answer imagery and energy coming through. So don't be afraid to speak up and ask for what it is that you need, just like the nurturer or the empress reversed, saying, I'm ready for this, I need this, this works for me or this doesn't. You're basically training, informing, and affecting the environment around you by speaking up. All right, let's continue to look at other messages with respect to health. Let me just take a quick drink and then we'll do that. Okay, so looking at this from a slightly different perspective, we're going to just see what here is adding to or subtracting from the general health and well-being in this moment. One thing that is supremely important right here and right now is for you simply to feel justified in saying, I want this or I don't want this, and to just be decisive. Justice is decisive. Justice is fair. If there's something that is right for you, even if it's unpopular, it's the right thing to do. You don't need my permission. You don't need spirits. But the card is saying, do what's best for your health and well-being. Talk the talk, walk the walk. The King of Swords is one of the best cards for communicating and getting that all out there. So I know you can do that. And I'm excited and curious to kind of see how that all shakes down for you. As we look at all of the energy around the center, I do think that the main thing for most of you is not trying to do everything for everyone. And really giving yourself and your heart a chance to just sort of like be happy here. So what are you doing for fun? A lot of times, I'll ask this of my friends, but back a long time ago when I used to do private readings, which I don't do anymore, by the way, but when I used to do private readings, I would ask someone, when was the last time you had fun? What are you doing for fun right now? And a lot of, they would just be focusing on work and love. And there's more to life than work and love. And this is about finding that balance here, because we see that the joy brings about your power. And this is going to kind of help inform your actions. And allowing yourself to kind of move into that is going to be key. Let's see what else is going on here. For some of you, this is interesting. There could be a little bit of parental healing. So maybe you're kind of just needing to pull back a little bit from someone in your life that wants to tell you what to do. So again, that's where you're standing up and doing what's right for you, not what's popular with your family. Because I see peer pressure, family pressure, or And for some of you, just the desire to want to do something that's going to just have people like applaud. And unlike that song, Applause, you're not doing it all for the applause. You're doing it because it feels right and it is right. The good news here is I see some just positive clearing and energy here. And I think that once you air out any grievances, or again, you're kind of that light of wisdom coming through here, then you're going to be able to shift things in the right perspective. Most of the cards are pretty good when it comes to health and well-being. Magician in reverse can say sometimes, take a look at if you're on a lot of, again, standard disclaimers apply here. I am not a doctor, but if there is something going on that it's interfering with your ability to feel good or concentrate, bring that up, because there could be something that's like a chemical, interaction. So sometimes it can be from what we're eating. Sometimes it's just not right for us. The doctor prescribes something and it doesn't feel right for your body. You know your body best, so talk to someone if you have that going on. Overall, I do like what I'm seeing here, and there's not that many issues here that we need to focus on with health. Just a happy surprise or something that's unexpected, so be open to that. Moving on from health to wealth. This is going to be resources, life purpose, and also your overall career trajectory. When we're looking at this, the card that came through was the Ring, which could be a favorable sort of partnership or contract on the horizon. It did come through in the reverse state though. So what we're looking at here is making sure that a proposed contract works equally in both directions. So someone may try to tell you, I'm doing you a favor. This is something that a lot of people would want. But do you want it? And are they getting still more in this bargain than you are? Because a lot of times, there may be a bunch of people lined up for the job or the opportunity, but if they're selling you short of your capacity, giving you less of a title, less money, less support, less respect, it's not good for you. And you're allowed to say no to it. So this is a picky Ring card because it's reversed. It's saying, I have to think about it. Can I get back to you tomorrow? And you can say that for really big decisions. If you're buying a house, if you're getting married, if you're accepting a job, you can always say, let me sleep on it. It's hard if it's a proposal, right? But you shouldn't be rushed in it. And just because somebody springs a surprise on you, which is what this is, you can say, I have to think about it. This is a lifelong commitment if it's something like this. So it's okay to say, I'm not sure, or I'm not ready. If you're not ready, better to say that than yes and regret it. I've talked about, like I walked in an office once and I knew I shouldn't take the job, but I took it anyway. And it was less than half a year that I was there. I learned from that experience that I knew when I was at the reception that I shouldn't take it. I still took it. I needed it at that time, but I was aware that this would be a very, very short-term engagement. So be aware of your intuition and don't commit to something longer than or more than you think you should, because you know on a heart level if it's right or if it's not. All right, looking specifically at wealth and other messages around wealth. You can make really cool things happen this month. We have a creator card here. And we have a creativity, the Apprentice of Vessels and the Apprentice of Cups and the Magician card working nicely here. This is a legal card, and it's saying protect your intuition or your intellectual property. So for those of you that are maybe coming up with a patent, a new product, something creative, whether it's artistic or not, doesn't matter. There's some sort of idea that can be protected here, so absolutely do something with that. We have a really great card for dissemination and communication coming through here with the Crown of Swords. So stand at the helm of this as well. If you're really excited about something, make sure that your voice doesn't get pushed out of the mix because you've worked too hard and too long for that to happen. Let's see what else is coming through for wealth. I mean, I love that we have a power card here with this. We have a couple of crown or king or emperor type energies here with the Empress and the Crown of Swords here. So for many of you, this is a moment in time where you really have to think to yourself, if not now, then when? Am I going to do something important? You have this chance to really Make a splash, do something cool, and I would encourage you to follow through and go for it. There's no reason not to do that. Let me see if there's anything else that I want to talk about here. I love what's going on in the environment here. So if you're looking for a potential breakthrough or opportunity, it feels like it's like from a friend of a friend or a friend of a friend of a friend. It's someone that you know. So the next job, the next opportunity, it's closer than you think, and it just requires you to basically maybe raise your hand or speak up a little bit and say, hey, how about this? Or I'm thinking of this. What do you think? And again, some good things can happen from that. Let me see what else I want to talk about with respect to this. Oh yeah, to not always go for the obvious, because this Four of Cups is just reminding you to look beyond what's in black and white. Don't be afraid to do the work. But generally speaking, a lot of cards surrounding your voice and how you're going to convey yourself. So really think things through. A couple of drafts might be good before you have an important meeting, have an important conversation, etc. Okay, moving on to love. This is going to be a variety of relationships from romantic to just friends and platonic. Let's see what the card is. Let's see what the message is. Interestingly enough, we already have a promissory card here plus here. We have the white raven spirit coming through, and it says trust in the magic. Isn't that cool? Because that's very nicely connected to the whole practical magic story that I was talking about. A great old movie, by the way, if you haven't seen it. So with this card in reverse, just like the magician in reverse, your magic or your power card, actually 3 power cards are reversed. Let's look at this. So the magician, which is manifestation and magic, the white raven, which is magic, and then the nurturer, the empress, which is also connected to magic. She comes right after the high priestess. All of these are reversed. Someone in your life has made you potentially doubt your power. And I'm here to say you've got this. You've got some great power cards in this spread. So it's really just about thinking it on a few levels. The first message is you are ready, and you have to think to yourself, say in your head, I am ready. And then I am deserving, and I am committed to this. And so see that readiness, that willingness, and that openness come together. Then the magic starts to take flight. All right, let's focus specifically on relationships. We're going to look at it in 3 different categories. For those of you that want to focus on an existing relationship, by the way, this can include love or business relationships or best friends. Whoever you love the most, that's in love or in a relationship. If you're looking for a partnership, and then single and happy. Those are the 3 levels that I look at. So if you're in a relationship, whether it's love, platonic, or friend, or business, this will work. Here's what I see as the relationship challenges and opportunities. So there could actually be some legal things coming in. This is proposal, this is marriage, this is a prenuptial. So some of you may need to get a prenuptial agreement together for something like that. In a contract as well, this could be both of you wanting it to happen, but you needing to hammer out a contract for work, saying, I see the chemistry, and trust the magic is trust the chemistry. So you can make this work, but you have to be the boss, and you have to speak up, and you may have to speak to a lawyer to get this done. So making sure that something key isn't missed. I talked about that backdoor thing. There could be a loophole that someone's trying to put past you. So make sure that doesn't happen, that doesn't fly, all right? So in an existing partnership, there might need to be a legal discussion and just to make it understood. And once that happens, it feels like things kind of go in a nice direction. I think that another thing that I'm looking at here is that once you've engaged in a relationship for a while, whether it's love, friend, or work, it is work. It can kind of fall into a predictable cadence. The cool thing here is I still see affection. I still see chemistry. What I see focused on, though, is the life that you've built, the responsibilities that are a part of this now. So for parents, it's very much focused on the children, the bills, the insurance, all that jazz. Don't forget the partnership. For those of you that might just be newly together, there's a lot of work energy coming through. So taking some time to just nurture and water and feed the relationship, because once you do that, I see a lot of growth. And that's really it. Open communication, dealing with any legal matters, and feeding the relationship. The good news here is the 2 cards in the outcome places, near future and future, they're pretty good. This is showing chemistry and kind of rekindling the chemistry. And we see you getting closer to success, one step away from success here. Plus, look at all the stuff that you've built together. I like that. So if you want to make it work, you can make it work. And if you don't, it can actually be a happy sort of parting of the ways. Okay? So for those of you that are seeking a partnership right now, the most important thing for you, I think, is to get your finances in order. There's a lot of financial cards coming through. By the way, overall, this is just a good month for your money. I didn't talk about that with wealth, but we're seeing an ace grow into a 10 here. So good things across the board with money. This is a good money month for you. But anyway, I feel like it's a time to focus on your environment, where you're working, where you're living, your money, and then finding your balance in your life. Once you do that, there may be someone coming in out of the blue. It feels like they're very outspoken because this is in the opportunity space. This would be the person, Empress energy, kind, nurturing, a little bit of a boss, not afraid to kind of come in and say, let's go out, let's do this. So I feel like you're ready for that. But for you, the only challenge that I see is you're very busy. You're going in a lot of directions. So you may need to make some room for relationships if that's really what you want. If you're single and happily single, good for you. There's so much that you can do with your energy this month. The Magician card is limitless. And I see a lot of great partnerships coming through for you. This, for some of you, could indicate someone that you've just hired or you're mentoring. This could also be you kind of really digging into something new and getting a lot out of that. But we also have like this beautiful partnership here with the Crown and the Champion of Swords, a Queen and a Knight. Very compatible. I like what I'm seeing here. So whether you're alone or you're looking for love or you're already partnered, the main thing here is making sure that the balance is there, that you're looking at your finances, that things look and feel right from a legal perspective and also just from a gut instinct. And if you do that, it's going to be a good month ahead. Looking at destiny, this changes every month based on your priorities. Let's see what this monthly trajectory is. So your destiny card here is the sea turtle. Sea turtles actually move faster than land turtles, than a tortoise. So they can also go in different directions, whereas a tortoise is going to be stuck with going forward for the most part, and very slowly. What feels like it might be slow initially is potentially going to pick up speed for you. And you may find that when you least expect it or when you change up the sort of environment a bit, that's also when you can experience more speed. So I believe sea turtles come to the beach, to the land to lay their eggs, and then they go back in the water. So it's going to be a very slow process on land, but once they get back in the water, it's smooth sailing again. So you may sort of feel at some points this month like a fish out of water or a turtle out of water. And remember that those periods of time are usually pretty short, and they also kind of show your potential, your power, what you can really do with your life. So embrace that and show people exactly what you've got, that you're someone that's not easily intimidated. Okay? Let's take a moment now and let's take a look at a big idea, just pulling everything together. I feel inspired to use a different deck for the big idea, so I'm going to do that. So for the big idea, let's just see if there's one overarching idea. I just want a splash of color in the spread. What can you focus on to make this the best month possible? We have the Seven of Cups, which is a card of dreaming. So for this one, it's reminding yourself that, you're allowed to explore new things. You're allowed to kind of really just dream and brainstorm. And there's no silly idea. Whenever I come up with an idea like a title for a video or a title for a book or a title for a podcast, you have to just put all the words down, all the ideas down, or if you're looking at places you want to live, you want options. So I think the important thing for you this month is to explore the options and don't limit them before you see what's possible. Planning a trip, you have to think, it's like spinning the globe around. Where haven't we been? What would be exciting? What would be new? Maybe this, maybe this. Don't discount it until you've given it the maybe treatment. Like just see. So I think this is really a month to dream and then do. Okay? I want to do one reader's choice and see if there's something that I can help you sort out and figure out. So as I look at all of these things, The one thing that's coming to me, there's two here, but I'm going to go for this one because it's more closely aligned to the channeled messages that we got earlier. So the Four of Cups is a blessing in disguise, hidden opportunity, or something where you might have a tool or resource right there. So what is this hidden gem that's kind of like lurking around you that you haven't paid much attention or mind to, and how can you access this? We have the Five of Cups coming through for this. So here's the 411 on this. Five of Cups is all about understanding that sometimes we have to grieve what didn't work out. So, best intentions sometimes just don't always end up the way we thought they would. So maybe you tried something and you were rejected. Maybe you missed an opportunity because you didn't act in time. Maybe someone just didn't listen, didn't phone back. Whatever it was, you tried something, a door was shut. The Five of Cups always has with it at least two. They switched it around in this one, and we have three instead. So she's actually paying attention and even kind of spilling out the remainder of the two cups in front of her. But behind her are three cups, and that's actually celebration, partnership, and opportunity that could come from gatherings too. So what I see for you is a chance to get yourself out there a little bit. The Wolf card, maybe some of you have been in the lone wolf phase too long, the hermit phase too long. And so since this artist chose to do three upright instead of two, we're looking at social gatherings that are going to lead to this path that are right behind her. So Five of Cups is a perspective shift. First thing is to say, this upset me, this triggered me, I'm emotional about it. And that's okay. And you work through the emotions as long as you need to, with the understanding that the minute you let go and the minute you kind of turn around and think, oh, wait, I forgot about this, or look at that, that's been waiting here the whole time. That's a light bulb moment for many of you. And whether it's two or three cups, it's people. The Two of Cups would be the person that's always there, that's always had your back, including Apollo, who's not having my back right now. Where are you, Apollo? Sometimes it's your pet, sometimes it's a best friend. The Three of Cups, though, could be, and this is why it came through today, you needing to kind of go out there and just sort of explore. It's kind of cool, like when I pull this card close up, you see the haze go away and you can see the details in the background. And a lot of us are lost in the haze. That's kind of magical, isn't it? So when we're looking at it from back here, this is the sort of mourning phase. And then as mourning gives way to, and if we think of it as mourning and morning, morning, and it gives way to midday, then all of a sudden that haze goes away. So there's a path that wants to reveal itself to you. I saw it in my dreams. I'm seeing it here. It's just a matter of being open and shining the light in a different direction. I'm never going to get tired of that. All right, so let's move on to the next portion, which is going to be sun, rising, and moon. As I said earlier, you can use this for any aspect of your chart, but I really want to also pay attention to these three aspects because they give you a nice fine-tune opportunity to see a little bit more. So let's look at those three aspects. And we just got a volunteer coming through for sun. Actually, there's two, and I'm going to honor that when that happens. They were stuck together. Guess what? A Four of Cups. Okay. So that's your sun, rising, and moon. Okay, let's talk. All right, so in your sun cards here, both of them are reversed. Let's just pull them in the upright position. Lo and behold, you get another version of the Four of Cups. In this Four of Cups, we actually see opportunity knocking. So, and it could be in the form of a person. So this Four of Cups was about something that you may already have around you that you're not sort of tapping into. It could also be for some of you in the sun sign, because we're looking at sun, a person that's like, hey, I can help you with this. But she has to be open to that. She's not ready yet. She's not ready. She's focusing more on what's clear, what's obvious, and maybe this person is encouraging her to see something that she's not ready to deal with just yet. Isn't it interesting how people around you often can see the obvious, can see what's clear before you can? And sometimes when you say, oh yeah, I'm dating this person, they're like, yeah, we saw the chemistry from a mile away. Or you quit, it's like, yeah, you've been unhappy for a while, I know that. So whatever it is that you want to do, it's actually kind of obvious to everyone else. So don't overthink it. I think this is really just an opportunity to say or try or do something that's kind of like on the tip of your brain or the tip of your tongue. And sweetness follows here because we have the King of Cups here. A lot of abundance, maybe too much abundance in this card, but it's cool. I love the pollinators. The bee here is amazing. So what I also see for you is bees to me are messengers. There could be some good news, and it's more than you think. There's too much food on this table. I'm looking at it like there's no way one person could eat a whole chicken or turkey and all that pie and all that. This is a very happy king. There's a lot of food on the table. So one thing that I think could be going on here is that someone wants to share the wealth or share the love or share. And maybe you're even in a point where you have more than enough and you want to share. Here's the thing though, it's only going to work if you or the other party is ready. So I see more than enough coming through and just the understanding that you're worth it. Okay? Could be love, by the way. King of Cups is a really favorable card because you have that perfect blending of divine masculine and feminine. Kind and clear in leadership and clear in voice and very demonstrative of feelings. For a partner, it's kind of a dream come true. So there could be a nice water sign coming in to support you, and good for you. You earned it. All right, let's move on to rising sign. We have the Holly King here, nice hermit energy here. And what we're looking at with this is understanding that the hard work that you're doing now will pay off later. You may not be seeing what you want, what you expected, but it takes time, folks, for everything to come together. So this is your moment to just sort of like continue what we saw here with the Four of Cups. Continue nurturing the things that you care about. Continue taking care of yourself and knowing that you're going to get your moment to shine. That lantern here is showing that soon enough, you'll become the star energy and you're going to be able to step out, share the wisdom. This journey's been worth it. So a slower burn for rising and ascendant, which means for many of you, maybe it's even a month or two from now where you start to get the recognition or you start to see the momentum pick up. But lo and behold, you're creating that path. There's a lot of paths that are showing up in all of these cards. We can see this one here, leading way to ostensibly like that 10 of Pentacles card here that we saw here, right? So the hard work now, and I told you there's a little candle in the window. We see like a light in the window. Not only that, we see someone waiting. And remember what I said, you might be wishing, but someone else is wishing just like you are wishing. So give the wishes time to connect. And patience is going to be one of the challenging aspects for some of you right now, but it's well worth the time and the energy. Moving from the rising to the moon sign, we have the crone coming through, a different version of strength, but I like it. So the crone carries with her experience, the mantle of experience. And she also understands, I don't have to put my fingers in the mouth of the beast all the time. I'm going to pick and choose the battles that matter most to me. We also see the lesson of cooperation and collaboration here. The lion and the crone are not at war with one another. They're both powerful in different respects. Divine masculine and feminine balanced. And that's another common theme that's coming through this month. Just wanted to pull up the moon so we know what we're talking about. Strength in reverse, though, can be a moment where you may have to, here's what I'm getting intuitively. For those of you that had maybe an elder, a grandparent, a parent, or just even like a teacher in your life that could just sort of shoot a look at you when you were acting up, let you know that there's power, but not have to use the power. I think that's what you have a chance to do this month. Just show in a simple glance or in a simple expression, maybe it's the tone of your voice. We're not doing that. No. It can just be in the tone of the no. 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 And that's it. You can just cut off an argument. And that's it. So the power of the words, the power of the tonality of the words, and also your nonverbal cues are going to be a lot more effective, than trying to make someone say, do, or feel something that they don't want to. Okay? That, my friends, brings us to the final portion of this reading where I'm going to take a look at a final card for you. So the way that this works is we're going to meditate first, and then I'll do a sound bath, and then we'll look at that final card. So as we're getting set up, think about something that you still have a question about that you would still like me to look at. Scribble it down, and then I'll delve into that in just a moment. In the meantime, make sure that you like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll talk about more ways that you can connect with me after the meditation. Okay, let's meditate, folks. As I'm looking at the cards in front of me, I think that I'd like to focus on paths, opening up a path. My favorite card was the one where we were seeing yes, it's this one, where there was a revelation of what was available to her, but not immediately. So we're going to focus on the fog clearing and this beautiful, clear path in front of you, almost like a gold paved path. Close your eyes if you will. Take a nice deep breath and imagine that you are at the beginning of a brand new day. You can feel the heat of the sun, but there is this fog bank that's around you, so that really you can't see much farther than the length of your own arm and your own hand. So take a moment just to enjoy this sort of protective veil, because that's what it is. And you're in a liminal space between something obvious and something that you know is out there, but you can't see. So in this liminal in-between space, possibilities can happen. So imagine that this is a magical fog that can bring with it your dreams or your desires. And it's waiting for you to see what you want to see in your head. And then the fog will clear and it'll either reveal your dream in front of you or a path to your dream if there's a little bit of work to be done. So close your eyes and put your hands on your heart. And the first thing I want you to do is to imagine and to understand, not just imagine, but to celebrate your worth. Maybe you haven't thought about it for a while. If you have, good, we're just going to reemphasize it. But in this moment, think, I'm worth all that I wish to happen in my life. I'm worthy. Just actually keep it simple. I'm worthy, I'm ready, and then state what you're ready for. As I play the singing bowl, imagine now that the fog starts to clear and you see golden rays of sunshine lighting up the path and showing you how to accomplish your heart's desire. Breath and see that the fog is clearing. Feel the warmth of the sunshine on your skin and feel this sense that things are going to start to get easier. With each breath that you take, with each step that you take, feel this sense of readiness, preparation, and most importantly, this clarity. That you're ready, that you see it, and that there's this sort of sense of relief in having done the work to create that clarity. Open your eyes if you haven't already, and when you're ready, take another exhale, and now you can focus on the question that you've been waiting to ask me. So if there's something that I haven't given clarity on just yet, go ahead and put that question out to the universe. Keep it to yourself first while I'm pulling the cards, and then we'll talk and see what the feedback is on that. Guess what we've got here? We've got the Chariot card, which I featured earlier. So the battle wagon or the chariot here is in the reverse state. So for many of you, there is an understanding that in order to do what's right for you. It may be a different path or direction than what was expected of you from friends, family, or from your sort of like from society around you. I mentioned this in yesterday's reading because we focused, the Chariot's been a common theme this week, which is kind of interesting energetically. The Chariot doesn't necessarily need two horses always. These horses have to work together, and if they don't, then you may have to just kind of have a single horse chariot in order for this to happen. So make sure that the people around you support you and they're not tugging at you in two different directions. That's one thing that I would say here. The Chariot in reverse is reminding you to take ownership, control, and to not second guess your leadership capacity because you have what it takes. It's also showing that in this moment in time, it may feel like things are slowing down or moving in the wrong direction. It could just require a slight course adjustment, which we talked about earlier. So if you don't like the direction you're headed in, talk to others, do some research, decide would it make a little more sense to do this or do this. And if you need to extract yourself from a contract or situation, do so slowly with care and with research as well. Ultimately, this is one of the entrepreneurial cards that I could pull in tarot. So I would say in this moment in time, if you want to do it, do it. This is usually a card that would need someone to help them stay accountable. It's not as sort of boss-oriented as Emperor, Empress, King, or Queen of Wands, or any of the King or Queen cards. So a lot of times this person partners better with someone else. So if you need someone to keep you accountable, go for it. Or if you need someone to advise you, it's good to know what you can do, and it's good to know where you don't want to do things or where you need some help. And that's what's going to allow you to set sail this month. All right, everybody. That brings this reading to a close. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you'd like to make sure that you don't miss a future reading, please do me a favor. Most of you that are here are probably subscribed, but if you haven't already, about 50% of the people that watch haven't subscribed, so please subscribe. Hit the like button, and when you opt into bells, choose all for notification, not just personalized or some. That way you'll make sure that you get all the live reading notifications. I'll make a little graphic of this too, but when you want to watch it on replay, make sure that you go to the live tab. There's a video actually in my main videos area, so you can look at that if you want to catch a replay. You can also follow me on social media. I always remind folks of what I've done. I'll start to post a link to my playlist as well because YouTube's made it a little harder to find things. Thank you to everybody who's given back with super stickers, super chat, and memberships. A reminder that if you do follow me across social media, I don't give private readings. I have no plans to do so. I just give readings here on YouTube. So this is the way to interact with me, and I appreciate that. Okay, let's go ahead now and take a moment to say thanks to everybody that showed up. I'd like to start by just saying much appreciation to all the friendly faces. There's a lot of members here that I've seen for years, so it's so good to see all of your faces here, and I see a few members that are already members, so thank you for that. Let me see if we have anybody that's new, if we have any contributions, and if we do, I'll say thank you, and if not, then we'll wrap up. All right, so Dorothy Adams, thank you so much for joining today, and Kelly, I can't say the last name correctly, Eimers, I think it is. Thank you so much. We have two new ones. So Dorothy and Kelly, so good to have you here today, and welcome back for those of you that have already been here. All right, for super stickers and super chat, let's see if anyone gave back. And we have one here. So thank you so much to Chapterless Watch. I appreciate your kindness today. Actually, that was yesterday. So to everybody, just thank you for showing up, and thanks to that one person for giving back yesterday. Remember, my schedule's pretty easy to remember. I do videos every Monday, Thursday, and Friday. These are the monthly ones. I do daily ones, just like it sounds, a 1-minute, 1-card reading. I always try to do that the day before. And then every Sunday, I come together with all of you, and we take a look at the week ahead. I hope you enjoy all of this here. So nice to see you guys, and I will be back again on the weekend on Sunday, so I hope you can join me then. In the meantime, take care of yourselves. Have a great day, and thank you for spending some time with me today as well. All right, bye-bye.